And this is 93.9 KPDQ. It's Real Estate Today. I'm Andy West. Was there a fly in the studio?
Something flying around in here.
I don't know what's...
Either that or I'm losing it.
Well,
Which
could be
Anyway, this is Real Estate Today. Gloria Hahn is here of the Hahn team, and it's kind of a 2-for-1 because we have Gloria Hahn here, and we have Dr. David Day, chiropractor, in our studio right now. I want to give you their phone numbers once again. If you need to make an appointment with Dr. Day, you can call his office at 503-760-7572, daychiropractic.com. It is a great website full of great information. By the way, Gloria Hahn, this is her show, and she's a realtor and just a great friend. And her website, gloriahahn.com. Her phone number, 503-997-5745. And today, Dr. Day talking about effective flu fighting strategies.
Yeah. And when you call Dr. Day's office, you'll probably get Sweet Nancy. And if you do, just say, Nancy, Mother, may I come in? And she'll know that I sent you. Because whenever I call...
Do you say that?
Well, she makes me say that.
Really?
Because I'm always calling late. I call it...
Well, you're busy.
I call it 2:15 to come in at 2:30. I'll say, Nancy, can I come in at 2:30? And she'll go, what do you say? And I'll say, Mother, may I? And she goes, yes, you may.
Wow.
Sweet
See,
lady.
I don't even know any of that happens. That's
They're
hilarious.
both
That's great.
wonderful. Mary and Nancy are wonderful.
Yeah.
You
Well,
did good.
you know, and it's interesting, Gloria, you think about, so here I am in practice, and it was a realtor who helped me get my clinic going. And I think about, you know, as a realtor, the impact you can have in a community, people, you know, so if you're thinking of starting a business or you want to move, my rent got jacked up $1,000 a month, and I said, never more. So knowing that you could call Gloria and she'll help you find a place, I mean, it's been just a wonderful thing for me to now be my own, I never thought I'd have my own office.
Wow.
I always assumed I would just rent, right?
I never knew that Gloria found you.
Well, she
No,
knows.
another
I didn't know
realtor.
another realtor,
Okay, okay.
but you know, I mean, that's if I would have known Gloria, I would have used her then. But it's kind of interesting that, you know, so anybody who's listening, I mean, if you're starting a practice or you're doing something, you know, really think about the value that a realtor can bring is, and then walking through the process, it wasn't uneventful. Now, and I didn't,
sure.
you know, because we had to get there were some challenges with some of the zoning and stuff like that, and so I know that's the sort of stuff you end up helping your clients
Yeah,
with.
she's
But,
good at that.
you
How
know,
long have you been there?
since the 90s.
Yeah, so see what a good
20 years
investment
ago.
that was
Absolutely.
for you. Rather than paying that high rent
Oh.
every month, now you're buying a piece
It's-
of property.
It's bought and paid for. It's done. You know, it's
Wow.
really, you know, so it really kind of, it's very freeing, you know, as a business owner
Sure.
to realize that while I've been serving the patients, the income, it's all, you know, so the Lord has taken care of us, and it, you know, I can, you know, it's one of the reasons why do I come to work with, you know, there's a satisfaction, there's a joy, there's not the pressure of the monthly, you know, I don't have a monthly payment now, it's done.
That's
And
wonderful.
isn't that exciting? So
And you do so many things for the community. I mean,
Yeah, you
like
do.
Christmas time, you walk into his office, there was clothes piled
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Because he did this huge clothing drive,
Yeah.
and you're always doing nice
He does.
things for the
Yeah.
community.
Well,
and
and
that's
it's-
why you're blessed too.
I think it's all part of it, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you know, I see you when you talk about your kids, just how you light up.
Mhm.
You've raised kids, you got
Mhm.
them to college,
Yeah.
successful
Yes.
kids, and
Yes.
not trying to brag on Dr. Day, but I will say this, that when he comes into our building, he just kind of lights
He
things
lights up the
and
room.
there's
Yep.
you know there's something I mean there's a lot of Christians that come into our building, and you know they're Christians, and Dr. Day just kind of, besides being a good chiropractor, he really has that aura about him, the light that shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, just the aura, and when he sings while he's
I
adjusting
do.
you, I mean, he's got the fish on, right?
Yes,
yeah,
we
the fish
play
is
the
on
fish,
all the
yeah.
time. And so it's like a rock out when you go in there. It's just fun. He's happy. He's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It
great.
is.
I love it.
It is a wonderful thing, isn't it? So, I want to thank you guys for making it all possible. It's all part of it. We work together on this. So, as we start thinking then, okay, our immune system. You know, I was thinking about, well, now wait a minute here. It's under the nerves. It's under the control of the nerve system. Well, what sorts of things does this nerve system do? Well, there are 137 million signals from your light receptors in your eyes, 100,000 hearing receptors from your ears, 3,000 taste buds, 30,000 heat sensing spots, 500,000 touch spots. Now, every once in a while I do teach a class around Valentine's Day about the role of the nerve system and being touched and the value of that. And you know, I feel sometimes in our world we're not in contact with each other enough. We don't touch, and we don't, you know, it's really interesting that if one of the recommendations on the flu is that you know, don't touch people, you know, you stay away kind of, and I just go, well, that's not good for our souls. We need to be in contact with each other, and our body is made to receive touch and to respond to touch and things like that. And so I, as a chiropractor, I will actually put my hands on you and I will administer healing to you. And I'll never forget one of my dad's patients. She was older at the time. She came up and held my hand, and she said, when your dad adjusts me, I feel the hand of God on my back, you know. And so I'm a little boy, and I'm hearing this lady talk and holding my hand and shaking my hand with such sincerity. You know, I've never forgotten Mrs. Crawford telling me that about my dad, and it's like, I get to do that now. And she believes that what he did for her helped her live many, many more years than what was going to happen otherwise. And so it is exciting, but the nerve system then has to take all that, and I'm amazed at how much information it processes without skipping a beat. So our nerve system has to keep everything working right, because when we get something like you were swatting at the fly or whatever that was, okay, well, your eyes are always looking, your ears, your nose, your smell, all this stuff, and all that information coming in. We do all this stuff simultaneously without skipping a beat. And if we work with computers and we start doing you know, we know how it chugs down, slows down. Our brains don't slow down. They process. Our brain has the capacity to alter the rate at which it processes by up to 4 times. The thalamus sets a metronome that tells the brain at what frequency. So when we're in higher demand, it can set the frequency higher so it can do more processes. It's a variable. It's like, oh my goodness. So if we have our immune system, what's going to protect us ultimately is this immune system, right? So we need to make sure the nerves are flowing. Well, what are the parts of the immune system? Well, if we're going to have a respiratory thing, a respiratory virus like the flu, what will our body use to fight that? Well, if it comes in here, we've got things like the adenoids, right? We've got the tonsils. We've got things like our lymph nodes, that sort of stuff. We've got the mucous membrane, which will trap some things, and then the stuff that gets trapped by it. We don't want to think about this, but you know, when you sniff and you swallow, what happens to it? It goes to our stomach. So one of the first things I tell people is your stomach really is part of your immune system. A lot of times people don't think about that. One of the most critical things for me early in practice, I don't know if you guys remember that scare a few decades ago with the Jack in the Box. Some of the kids ate the tainted meat and some people died. I often wondered, why did some people die and other people, they ate there and didn't have any problem? And I think one of the elements was the higher the acid concentration in your stomach, the more likely to kill the bugs when they land there. And I think about that even now, because I know there are people, if you, let's say you have heartburn, and if you go to the medical doctor, what are you given? You're given a medication that will reduce the acid in your stomach. And if it works and you don't have heartburn anymore, are you happy and excited and happy? Yes, you're happy, and so you continue taking that medicine. But the thing is, there's a consequence. If your acid content is not as good, you're not going to have such an effective immune system fighting capacity, are you? Because that acid serves to protect you from the invaders. They'll fry it, they'll dissolve it. Also, you may end up with osteoporosis because you need to have a high acidic environment in which calcium is absorbed. And that's the only place in our intestinal tract that it's acidic. It switches as soon as it gets in the small intestine to alkaline. So you start thinking about that, and you think, and you know, your gut is also part of your immune system. And so if anyone who's had anything like a gluten sensitivity or problems with the gut, when it becomes too permeable, then bugs, it's easy for stuff to leak through the gut and get into the bloodstream. So we want to have a nice healthy bowel system and a good process and elimination. So you realize, wait a minute here, your immune system that your body has, your innate immune system has to work at peak efficiency in order for you to be able to fight the flu. And so that's something, so we've got to make sure that we're not kind of compromising your body's functions. We want to then optimize and enhance them. And so that's really, because as we get the next module, I really want to get into some of the things that we can eat, the foods that we can, and the types of things that we can then take into our bodies that will fortify us and that will kind of make us so that we can withstand and be fully functional.
So here's just a question before we go to the
Yeah.
break. Way before everybody started talking about E. coli and
Yes.
things in the water, I remember living on a ranch and drinking out of a creek, and who knows what was in that irrigation canal, not
Yes.
even a creek.
Yeah.
I used to change irrigation
Yeah.
pipes, and I used to take the sprinkler and I used to suck
Drink.
on it and
Yeah.
drink it. Never, ever, ever got sick.
No.
And I've been hiking in the Cascades, drank out of a stream, never got sick.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we head into the late 80s and 90s and everybody's talking about boiling and E. coli. And I mean, in a minute, what's your take on all
So
that?
my take is, I think we've gone off the deep end. I don't use those hand sanitizers. I use the natural cleaner for my thing, but I don't wash the table after every time. I think we've gotten too vigilant, and I think it's made our immune systems hyper vigilant. Some of the allergies and things that we're having are because our immune system isn't given enough to do. In fact, I was just reading a study about kids who are raised on a dairy farm have hardly any allergy problems.
Right.
And you go, well, have you ever been to a dairy farm?
Right.
They're sloppy, messy, wet, and smelly places to
Or
be.
a chicken farm.
Right, right. And so if you are raised in an environment where there's a lot of those sorts of things, it actually ends up being better for our bodies to have the exposure of all these things rather than trying to keep ourselves pristine. And the studies do not back up. Well, there are some, it depends on kind of, but in general, my concept is I'm going to try to keep a healthy system in my own body. I'm going to try to keep my flora and fauna healthy. I'm going to try to keep my hands. I'm going to let them touch stuff and let my skin and my body allow a certain culture and certain things to grow and be on me. It's much healthier for me, and it will be safer ultimately than trying to live in a very sterile environment like that.
Wow. Okay, let's get you a break. Phone number for Dr. Day, by the way, 503-760-7572. 760-7572 for Day Chiropractic. And for Gloria Hahn, it's 503-997-5745. This is Real Estate Today, 93.9 KPDQ.